Are you one of those zero-drop barefoot hippies? Or that heavy-footed, I want as much cushioning as possible kind of dudes? Or are you just an old man with the Kayano from 8 centuries ago? Today, we are discussing one of the most popular trail running shoes ever made, and it might just be the one for you. This year has been extremely innovative for Altra as a brand, so stay with me as we review the latest release of the famous Lone Peak and discover what's new and what's the same. There is one major drawback though that you don't want to miss out on, so stick around for the reveal at the end of this video. But before we start, how strong is your running IQ? Well, one thing is for sure, it will 10x if you click that beautiful button under this video and turn your notifications on so you don't miss out on any juicy running content in the future. Alright, let's get down to business and start with some of the interesting specs. Weighing in at just 10.7 ounces or 303 grams for a men's size US 9 and 9.1 ounces or 259 grams for a size US 7 for women. Its design features a 25mm stack height and the original zero-drop platform. The Lone Peak 8 is engineered with an Ego foam midsole and a durable ripstop mesh upper. Altra is determined to stay with the MAXTRAX outsole instead of Vibram, and it is priced at $140. Okay, so that's the specs, but what does this mean for you as a runner? As usual, let's start with our thoughts on the upper. As many of you already know, my foot shape is long and narrow, and let me tell you, as someone who's picky about how a shoe fits, especially around the trails, I was impressed. In a whirlwind of wild change, with narrowing toe boxes, higher chunks of stacks and drop counts in the marketplace, I'm glad that Altra chose to keep its personality, though the Lone Peak has that unique shape to it with a very roomy toe box, and even wider actually than version 7. It was like, yeah, don't worry, we got you. The fit was great over the midfoot and heel as well, despite of my narrow feet. Of course, a little too roomy around the forefoot for my liking, but almost everyone I've talked to about this model seems to disagree with me on that one. The Ultra fan seems to really enjoy the breathability and wiggle room. And do you have that wider foot shape from the start? Then I am sure you would love the upper on the Lone Peak 8. And I get it. It is really comfortable. You just have to get used to it if it's your first time with Altra. While almost everything of the overlays and such all remain the same from the previous version 7, Altra swapped from a cheap-feeling engineered mesh to a heavier-duty ripstop nylon. In my opinion, it feels much higher quality than the standard engineered mesh you see from so many other models. But what about the midsole then? The Ego foam they've used. It's like the sweet spot for trail running. You've got enough cushion to take the edge off the sharp rocks and roots without losing the feel for the trail. It's firm enough to give you a solid push-off and descent stability, but if you run longer runs, your feet might feel battered depending on your level of experience. And let's talk about the zero drop. It's like it encourages a more natural running posture. You know, you really feel connected to the ground, which is exactly what you want on unpredictable terrain. Plus, it kind of nudges you towards better form, making those longer distances feel a bit more manageable. And that's coming from someone who usually likes a little bit of drop underfoot. Overall, the midsole design just complements the whole experience of trail running with that OG Altra feel. Hang on, it is not all sunshine and rainbows with this model. Time for the Lone Peak 8 to get brutally roasted. While the upper is great, we turn the shoe upside down and learn about the dark side. It seems Altra didn't listen to the negative reviews about the outsole. We wanted Vibram, but we got MAXTRAX. It is far from ideal in wet and muddy conditions, and it wears down notably faster than Vibram, which is actually light years ahead of MAXTRAX in every part of the spectrum. A great disappointment as far as I'm concerned. As mentioned earlier, the Lone Peak 8 retains its massive toe box and zero-drop midsole that made Altra famous. If you enjoyed version 7, or really any other Lone Peak model through the years, you'll no doubt find something to appreciate about this low-key update to a real classic. If trail is not your usual jam, or if you want to know about the secrets of one of the most popular road running shoes of 2024, you need to watch this video next. I'll see you there.